everyone, it's Mary. Today, first of all, the day in which I'm filming this video, it's the 14th of November and it's my birthday. I was hoping to actually upload this video on this day, but I don't think it's gonna happen, so that's why I'm stating the date. There's no chance that I will be able to edit this video unless I don't edit it, which again, it's one of my goals, but it's never gonna happen, I feel. But yeah, anyway, aside from that, I'm 31 today. It feels, sort of okay. I have not been enjoying aging these past, let's say, 10 years or so I don't know. Let's focus on the bright side, which is that I'm expecting an influx of books coming my way. Waiting for that because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna film a haul of those books. In the meantime, I just thought I'd show you some books that I've been acquiring recently. I'm always purchasing books. I already said in a different video that I'm not really sure the books that I hauled and that I did not haul, especially the ones that I bought some time ago. But I just wanted to share with you like a couple of books that I got recently that I'm sure I didn't haul yet on this channel, and also talk about what I'm currently reading, because I'm currently actively reading 2 books. So let's first dive into the books that I'm currently reading. First up, the one that I've got in physical form. It's Another Day in the Death of America by Younge. I just read the first chapter of this book. This is a non-fiction book, and it's written by Younge, who is a British black journalist, who lived in the US for quite a long time and then went back to the UK and actually wrote this book focusing on gun violence in the US, and how we tend to focus, as a whole, but especially American people tend to focus on like mass shootings, because those are what impact the nation as a whole more, because they're sensational, but fortunately I would say they don't happen like every day. What happens every day though is that at least 10 people in general lose their lives due to guns. He focuses on teens and children, and explores. He picked a random day in 2013 and decided to dive into the facts and the lives of all the teens and children that lost their lives due to gun violence in those 24 hours. It's the 23rd of November of 2013. And each chapter focuses on a different story. Some of them are mistakes, and by mistakes are accidents. Some of them are intentional. Each of them have a different, background. And he had, from what I gather, because I only read the first story, he had different sort of access to the story, depending on, the parents or the people around wanting to share to get interviewed by him, which is understandable. I think the intention of this book is great. I think it's a very important book to be reading. I'm not sure about the execution of this one. The first story was very hard to read. It really impacted on me, and I didn't think it would that much. But at the same time, I found it a little, and I hate myself for saying this, because again, this is a very delicate subject. I want to approach this carefully, but I felt like it was a bit cheesy, which is a term that I would prefer not to use, but I can't find a better one, in telling you the story of, in telling you who was this kid that died. I'm not saying that this book should be cold and distanced, but I don't know. Of course I only read the first chapter, so I have plenty of time to think about this book and form like more thoughts on this one. It's interesting. It's hard to read though, so I suspect this will take quite a while. This book is one that I'm reading for Nonfiction November, for the prompt time, and I think the only book, possibly the only nonfiction book that I will be reading, no, the only fiction book that I will be reading during this month is a book that I'm reading for our book club over at Voxer, hosted by Yamini over at Shakespeare and Spice, and I'm gonna leave links to her channel down below. And we are reading Breasts and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami, and I'm listening to this one on audio because first I wasn't really sure that this book would be for me, so I tend to gravitate towards audio if since I have a subscription on Scribd, and see if it's available, that I'm gonna try and listen to it, and if I like it, maybe I will, you know, purchase it later. And also because the paperback was extremely expensive, I couldn't find, you know, a cheap paperback for me, so I started listening to this on audio, and I have some problems with the audio and fiction books. I much prefer to listen to maybe non-fiction narrated by the author. I don't have problems with YA and audio, since I read, as I told you in my previous video, I read The Black Flamingo, and that one, you know, flowed nicely. But with translated books that are fiction, I much rather read them in paper. That's why, since I was liking this one so much, I purchased the paperback that I finally found, you know, a cheaper, you know, edition. So I'm happy, and I'm waiting for that one to arrive, because I just wish I knew that if I had the paperback, I would read it quickly, especially because the audio, I cannot always listen to the audio. This was originally a novella written, I think 10 days ago or so, by the author, and then she basically sort of changed some things and combined this, like incorporated this novella in a bigger book, which is it's pretty chunky actually. And the first part would be the old novella, and the second part, which is much larger, would be, you know, it's a continuation of the story, but set like 10 years later. It's just, it is a bit different. Although the author of the book actually said that it's not like that, like she didn't just take an old novella and just stick it to another book, but she did change things, and she just basically she rewrote the original novella. That's what she said. But I have to say, I mean, I'm only 50% in the book, but the first part of the book was so good and it worked so well, and I'm not sure about the second part of the book. It's really a different tone. It's really a different, it focuses on different things. I think it was working for me. The first part of the book was working 100%, and I wish it stopped there. Although of course I'll share my full thoughts once I finish the book. But it's a very interesting one, this one. I did not even tell you what this book is about. It's about three women. The narrator of the story, who is Natsuko. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Her sister, Makiko, and the sister's daughter, Midoriko. So these three women share sort of, I think the first part of the book is just set in the span of 3 days, and I thought it was so brilliant how it was written. In so little time, they explore a lot of their lives, and it's told from the perspective of Natsuko, but also we have some journal entries of Midoriko, the young teenage sort of daughter of Makiko. And actually the journal entries are from not from the same moment in which the narration is going. They're previous to the narration events. So I just thought that worked so well, and I wish I could, you know, maybe if the book was to continue, I wish it would have in the same sort of structure that had in the first part. But yes, I feel like I talked a lot about these two books, being only two, but I just want to briefly mention the books that I acquired. So my mini haul, the first one, and I have to say, I stated in a previous video that I wanted to focus on books that not that I know that I'm gonna enjoy, but there are like high chances that I read the blurb and I'm like, wow, this sounds like the book for me. Because I've been buying a lot of books over the past years on BookTube that probably sounded not like books that I would particularly enjoy, but hearing people talk about them just got me pumped, and you know, and now I end up with a lot of books that I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy. However, this book, it doesn't sound like something that I would enjoy particularly, but I heard Liv over at a Book Nook rave about this, and it was an instant, I need to buy this book, so I just went with the guts and bought it like instantly. And it is Flames by Robbie Arnott. This is sort of magical realism set in Tasmania, and talks about this family and how the women of the family have this tendency to come back to life after they're dead, and basically burst into flames. And I don't know what the consequences are of this, but the daughter of this woman that died and went back to life actually is scared of doing the same thing, and her brother suggests they build a coffin to secure her on the ground, in the ground, and she just flees. I'm not really sure. I don't want to know a lot about this. I just heard. I don't even remember what really sparked my interest in this, but yeah, I'm excited to get to this one and see if my guts instinct were correct. Yeah, so this one. Next two books actually sound like something that I would enjoy. So we've got Sugar by Bernice McFadden, and I think this is supposed to be sort of a classic, set in a southern black town in the 50s. Sugar is a woman that arrives in this town and shakes it a little bit, and the women are very worried about their husbands and their morals, probably because Sugar is a bit different. She's got a lot of experiences on her back, and while she provides this breath of fresh air, she's also stirring some worry. But she bonds with another woman, and they become friends. They start a friendship, and this apparently will help them heal, both because probably they've been through a lot, both of them, and this relationship will change a lot of perspectives. So yes, this sounds great. Again, it also was such a beautiful edition. I just need to say that because all the books that I bought are so beautiful. I'm such a sucker for pretty books. The last one is Annoucement by Jamaica Kincaid. I wanted to read some Jamaica Kincaid because I heard that she was so good, and amongst all the books that were suggested to me, I chose this one. This is a coming-of-age story of a little girl, and it just sounds like, again, coming-of-age stories are just something that really appealed to me. It's a short book, but I've come in the last, I would say, few months, I've come to appreciate short books, which is, I always preferred long ones, but I feel like if they're done correctly, short books they pack such a punch, and so I have really high hopes for this one. And yeah, that was it for today. I feel like I've talked a lot, and I thought this book wasn't gonna be that long. Of course, I will have to edit this one, so I don't know when I will upload it. But I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know if you read any of the books that I mentioned, what you thought of them, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!